Not worry has become such a normal part of human existence that many people don't even notice when they are doing it. It creeps into every thought, disguising itself as preparation, responsibility, or even love. Yet when you step back and really observe it, worry is nothing more than an energy drain, a habit that consumes your focus while offering no solution. The truth is, life rarely unfolds according to our anxious predictions. What actually happens is far more organic, shaped by timing, choices, and forces we can't always see. When you stop worrying, you make space for those unseen forces to work. You start trusting the process instead of fighting against it. You realize that control is mostly an illusion, and peace begins when you let go of that illusion. When your mind stops looping through what-ifs, clarity returns. Suddenly, you see paths that were hidden by fear. This shift isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about recognizing that panic has never solved one. Calmness is what allows solutions to appear. When you let go, people respond differently. Opportunities align more naturally. It's as if the universe was waiting for you to relax before it could start moving things into place. Worry blocks your creative energy. Peace frees it. Every time you catch yourself in a spiral of what might go wrong, remind yourself that you've already survived every hard moment you once thought would break you. Life has always found a way forward, and it will again. The irony is that when you stop trying to force outcomes, the right ones begin to emerge almost effortlessly. Many people believe that worrying shows care or responsibility. They think if they stop worrying, they might appear careless or detached. But caring and worrying are not the same. Caring means being present and thoughtful about what can be done right now. Worrying means mentally living in the future, where nothing can be done yet. One is grounded, the other is chaotic. When you separate the two, you start to understand how much energy you've wasted rehearsing disasters that never arrive. Imagine all that energy redirected into creation, planning, or simply enjoying what you have. That shift changes everything. When you stop worrying, you stop vibrating at the frequency of fear. Life starts to feel lighter, not because it suddenly becomes easy, but because your mind stops making it heavier than it already is. The power of letting go lies in perspective. The moment you accept that uncertainty is part of life, you stop fighting it. You begin to see uncertainty as space for possibility, not a threat. And as your inner landscape becomes calmer, your outer world follows. People who once stressed you begin to feel less intimidating. Tasks that felt overwhelming become manageable. Your focus improves, and you start to act from wisdom rather than anxiety. That's how things start working out. Not by magic, but because you are finally aligned with the flow of life instead of resisting it. One of the biggest lessons in life is that worry doesn't change outcomes. It only changes you, and never for the better. It ages the mind, weakens the body, and clouds judgment. The irony is that most of what we fear never even happens. Studies show that nearly 85% of the things people worry about never occur, and the remaining 15% often turn out better than expected. So why do we still do it? Because worry gives the illusion of control. It tricks the brain into feeling active while accomplishing nothing. When you finally stop feeding that loop, something profound happens. You begin to experience peace as your natural state. That peace attracts stability and better decisions. You start responding instead of reacting. Life doesn't stop throwing challenges your way, but you face them with clarity instead of panic. That single difference changes outcomes more than any anxious preparation ever could. Life begins to work out not because the world suddenly favors you, but because your energy stops working against you. A calm mind notices opportunities an anxious one misses. A calm heart connects with people an insecure one pushes away. When you stop worrying, you rediscover trust in yourself, in time, in life's rhythm. You realize that worrying was never a sign of care. It was a barrier to presence. Letting go of worry doesn't mean giving up on goals or ignoring problems. It means replacing fear with faith, not in some abstract spiritual sense, but in a grounded awareness that you can handle what comes. Every moment in your life so far has proven that truth. You've made it through every challenge, every heartbreak, every uncertainty. Even the moments you thought would end you became turning points that shaped your resilience. So why believe now that the next unknown will destroy you? The moment you stop feeding that fear, you tap into strength that was buried beneath panic. You begin to move through life with quiet confidence instead of frantic control. The future stops being a battlefield and becomes an unfolding journey. When you trust that each experience serves a purpose, life stops feeling random. You begin to see patterns, synchronicities, and gentle nudges guiding you forward. That's when things start working out. Not because you force them to, but because your energy aligns with flow. The people you need start appearing. The timing starts making sense. You stop chasing and start attracting. The world begins to mirror your internal calm, just as it once mirrored your chaos. There's an invisible connection between our emotional state and how life responds to us. Worry broadcasts a frequency of fear and resistance. It tells life, I don't trust you. But when you let go, your energy shifts into openness, and life can finally meet you halfway. It's like unclenching a fist that's been gripping too tightly. Once you release it, circulation returns, and the hand can receive again. That's how blessings flow. Worry blocks flow because it's rooted in scarcity. It assumes there won't be enough time, love, or opportunity. Letting go affirms abundance. It says, I trust that what's meant for me will not miss me. And that belief transforms everything. You begin to notice subtle opportunities that used to pass you by. You stop reacting to delays with frustration and start seeing them as redirections. You no longer beg the world to work out. You start collaborating with it. Life becomes a dialogue, not a struggle. The more you trust that process, the more it rewards you with timing, people, and outcomes that make sense only in hindsight. And when that happens, you realize how unnecessary all the worrying ever was. Worry creates distance between you and the present moment. It takes your attention away from what is and drags it toward what might be. The mind loves to live in imaginary futures because it believes that constant prediction equals safety. But safety is not found in overthinking, it's found in awareness. The only place you can actually influence life is here, right now. When you stop worrying, You pull your energy back into the present, and that's where your power lies. Suddenly, instead of imagining hundreds of outcomes, you see one step clearly, the one you can take now. You start moving forward without waiting for perfect clarity, because you trust that clarity grows with motion. Life rewards movement, not paralysis. Worry keeps you frozen, replaying possibilities, fearing mistakes. Letting go invites freedom, curiosity, and progress. The more present you become, the more coincidences begin to feel like guidance. You start to meet the right people, hear the right words, and stumble into timing that feels too perfect to be random. That's not magic, it's alignment. When you live fully here, life responds here. When you live in fear of the future, life can only mirror that hesitation. The moment you choose presence over worry, everything begins to align quietly in your favor. So many people carry invisible weights. Worries about career, relationships, family, money, or the fear of failure. These worries slowly build into walls that separate them from peace. What they don't realize is that most of these worries come from attachment to outcomes. We think happiness lies in things turning out a certain way, but happiness actually comes from being okay, even when they don't. The moment you detach from how life should be, you start to experience how life is. And often it's far kinder than you expected. When you stop demanding that everything go perfectly, you create space for imperfection to bring lessons, and sometimes even blessings. Failure becomes redirection, rejection becomes protection. What once felt like loss starts looking like guidance. The only thing that changed was your perspective, and that shift began the moment you stopped worrying. When you relax into uncertainty, you realize how adaptable you are. You begin to see that you can handle far more than you imagined, and that self-trust, born from releasing control, is what makes everything start working out. The world bends toward the energy of calm, because calm holds wisdom, and wisdom always finds a way. When you stop worrying, your relationships also start to heal in unexpected ways. Worry makes you defensive, suspicious, or clingy. It causes you to project fears onto others, fears of betrayal, abandonment, or disappointment. But when you let go, you stop controlling people with silent expectations. You allow them to be who they are. That acceptance creates safety, and safety builds genuine connection. You start listening more deeply because you're no longer trapped in internal noise. You notice what people mean instead of just what they say. You stop reacting to assumptions and start responding to truth. The same happens within you. You begin to trust your own intentions more. You no longer chase validation because your worth isn't tied to how others respond. Worry makes love conditional, but peace makes it unconditional. The relationships that are right for you start to flourish, and the ones that aren't gently fall away. Life simplifies itself when you stop worrying about losing what was never meant to stay. And in that simplicity, you find space for new, healthier connections, ones built on trust, not fear. The heart becomes lighter, and love flows again, not because you forced it, not because you stopped blocking it. The power of surrender is often misunderstood. Many think surrender means weakness or passivity, but it's actually the highest form of strength. To surrender means to stop fighting reality, to stop insisting that things go your way. It's an act of wisdom, not defeat. When you stop worrying, you begin to surrender, not to hopelessness, but to trust. You learn to see that everything in life has its timing. The things you chase often run, but the things meant for you find you when you stop chasing. Worry is like swimming upstream. It exhausts you and gets you nowhere. Letting go is turning around and flowing with the current. It doesn't mean you stop swimming. It means you swim with awareness of direction. You begin to notice how life supports you when you stop fighting it. Even challenges start to make sense in hindsight. You see how a delay once protected you, how a heartbreak opened you, how a mistake redirected you. Every experience becomes part of a greater pattern that only patience reveals. Worry blocks that vision, but surrender reveals it. The irony is that you get what you once wanted only after you no longer need it desperately. Fear and worry often disguise themselves as preparation. People say, "I'm just being realistic," when they're really just feeding their anxiety. There's a difference between preparation and preoccupation. Preparation is proactive, worry is paralyzing. The more you try to control every outcome, the less control you actually have, because you start reacting from fear instead of wisdom. When you stop worrying, your preparation becomes intentional rather than obsessive. You plan what's within your power and release what isn't. This balance brings peace. You learn to trust your ability to adapt rather than predict. And because you're no longer consumed by endless possibilities, your energy focuses on what truly matters. That's why things begin to work out, because your decisions are made from clarity, not chaos. You become more efficient, more creative, more responsive to opportunities that arise in the moment. Life rewards that kind of balance. You begin to see that the opposite of worry isn't ignorance. It's wisdom. Wisdom knows what can be done today and leaves the rest to time. That's how you create a life that feels stable even in uncertainty. When you let go of worry, you start to live in rhythm with the natural order of life. Everything in nature follows a process. Seeds grow in their season, rivers flow toward the ocean, stars shine and fade on their time. Humans are the only ones who try to rush the process. Worry comes from impatience, the belief that if things aren't happening now, they never will. But life doesn't follow our calendar, it follows readiness. Sometimes what feels like delay is actually preparation. Sometimes the waiting builds strength or shapes you into the person capable of receiving what's coming. When you stop worrying, you begin to appreciate the timing instead of resenting it. You learn to see the beauty in waiting, the growth in silence, the wisdom in pauses. Suddenly, life doesn't feel like a race anymore. It becomes a journey you can actually enjoy. And when you enjoy it, everything starts unfolding more smoothly. Because you're no longer trying to rush divine timing. What's meant for you won't miss you. But only if you stop running past it in fear. Every time you worry, you're telling yourself a story about how things might go wrong. The mind loves to dramatize, to predict loss or embarrassment, to replay worst-case scenarios. But storytelling works both ways. You can also tell yourself stories of peace, strength, and trust. The narrative you choose becomes the emotional atmosphere of your life. When you stop worrying, you start rewriting that inner story. Instead of, what if I fail? It becomes, what if I learn something valuable? Instead of, what if I lose everything? It becomes, what if this makes space for something better? This mental shift doesn't deny reality, it reframes it. The energy behind your thoughts shapes how you perceive the world, and perception shapes experience. When your story changes, your behavior changes. You take risks you once avoided, you smile more often, you attract better energy, and life starts mirroring that optimism. Worry writes tragedy. Faith writes transformation. Once you understand that your mind is the author, you stop letting fear hold the pen. That's when you truly begin to watch everything start working out. Thank you for watching this video.